Hey trackies, welcome back to another video. Please remember to smash that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. That's how the video gets to the YouTube algorithm. Share the video if you care. I hope you all care, so share, and yes, please. The comments sound off. So trackies, apologies. Yes, I was, having some audio issues. I did try to save the Ashanti Moore video before uploading it, but yeah, it seems as though it still wasn't good enough quality. So I apologize for that. And yeah, I just dashed the rest of those videos. So I'll, re-record them at some, other time. But yeah, when am I never having technical issues? It seems to be a running gag over here on TXC Track Time, right? But anyway, outside of that track is Leighton Levy now has a YouTube channel. Go check him out, Mr. Analyst. But he subtly breaks, that Elaine Thompson-Herah is now back training with Elite Performance, and they're over there in Europe, in Spain, training. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Levy, if you could go by just the title of the video, you would have no idea that, he would break such a big story, in that particular video. But hey, he's new to YouTube. I suppose he'll get the hang of it, at some particular point in time. But yeah, massive breaking news as far as I'm concerned. Elaine Thompson-Herah now training in Europe with Elite Performance. Now, he's not sure if this is temporary, or temporary or permanent, but he can confirm that yes, indeed, Elaine Thompson-Herah is training with Elite Performance. So yeah, we just have to snap that up. Now, actually, I did get some information some time ago. I don't know if y'all remember when there was, stories or reports being made that Elaine Thompson-Herah was actually in Jamaica. Yeah, I did get some information that she was here, to mend some fences, whatever fences were, probably broken. She was here to mend those. And it seems as though, trackies, yeah, she has, succeeded, with Elite Performance, and she's, back training with them. So let's see how it goes the second time around. Things didn't really go the best the first time around, and I don't necessarily think it had anything to do with any kind of controversial situation happening between Elite and Elaine Thompson-Herah. And that's only because clearly they were struggling with managing, in my opinion, right, so many athletes, right? Shannon Fraser-Price made the club have a really big boom, right? A lot of athletes were heading over to Elite Performance, and as such, my belief is that hey, they probably weren't able to focus and give them the individual focus that they needed, and it led to a lot of injuries. And what we witnessed is that a lot of those athletes ended up leaving, going to different clubs. But in 2025, we're seeing where Elite Performance is doing fantastic. Megan Tapper running at 12.34 in the women's 100-meter hurdles, backing that up again on the Diamond League, winning her first Diamond League race. That was absolutely crazy. We see Kerika Hill back as well, running really well. Sashin Dennis is out there, competing well internationally. I actually remember that video. I don't remember how much years ago. It was probably in 2021 or something like that, when Ronaldo Walcott did a video with TVJ saying how Sachin was going to be competing for Jamaica, and I said, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. To this date has happened, and it looks as though it will never happen. And that's fine. I've moved on with my life. You know what I mean? But that being said, he's competing well, right? I saw Julian Fort, recently as well. He's back from injury, competing strongly, and Sandra Davison is also, back with the club. He, unfortunately picked up an injury at the trials and wasn't able to, follow through. But for the most part, the club seems to be doing well now that they have a handful of athletes. So in my opinion, I just think that some clubs, shouldn't have, that big group, and just kind of focus on a small, set of athletes, and so that they can get that, individualized focus again, so that, things don't go haywire like we saw, that happened previously. And with that being said, with Elaine Thompson-Herah back in that small setup, I'm hoping that things will go better this time around than what we saw. Well, we didn't really see nothing, to be fair. There was nothing to report on when it came to Elaine Thompson-Herah being at Elite. She was there for like, a short, few months, and that was it, and then she was gone. You know what I mean? But I'm hoping that this time around, things will be better, for her. And, just overall, trackies, there's so many things that I think could have gone better for her, right? And in hindsight, you can definitely look at it and say, hey, we could have actually, made some better decisions. No, not by we, I don't necessarily mean, Elaine Thompson-Herah or the parties involved. But, sometimes as outsiders looking in, I believe that we also tend to blow things up as well, bigger than they should have been, and end up, causing rifts, some rifts that, unfortunately, you're unable to, resolve. So, in thinking, because even to this day, I'm looking at, what I see Brian Lavelle doing. I see Shaniki Osborne, competing, not competing, sorry, coaching really well, with her small few athletes, and they're, really doing well. Young set, but really, really doing well. Well, there's the 400-meter, athlete there, but still, really, really doing well. And I keep, replaying in my mind, how well I actually thought that the two, were working together, and that is Elaine Thompson-Herah and, Shaniki Osborne. And I keep saying, what if, whatever went down didn't go down? And, some of you may remember me saying some time ago, right, that I do strongly believe that, if Oral Tracy, and some of you may not me, and it is what it is, I don't really care. I just think that sometimes some things are better left unsaid and allow, the parties involved, to resolve it. Because, once, a third party gets involved with that comes with the rest of the world, as far as I'm concerned, things get much worse. And I thought that's what happened, right? And yeah, they weren't able to, resolve that issue because it blew up into a demon, a monster, right? But I definitely thought, and some of y'all may remember that video when I said that, hey, if this story never came out in the inception, maybe, we could have seen, Elaine Thompson-Herah and Shaniki Osborne blossom into some, amazingness, right? But it's water on the bridge at this particular point. It never happened, and it probably wasn't meant to be. I'm just hoping that no, that she's with Elite Performance, right? We'll definitely, see her able, to deliver on a lot of the promise. And, the clock is actually ticking as well. She's not necessarily getting any younger, right? So I am hoping that, she's able to, hurrah, final hoorah before, she leaves track and field. After all, double Olympic champion, back in 2021, did, what no person has ever done, right? From a female perspective, clearly, going off and doing, absolutely phenomenal runs at 10.54 as well, right? The unofficial world record, many of us believe it's the world record, but you know how them the thing to go, right? We just have to leave it as is, right? But for sure, Elaine Thompson-Herah is one of those athletes that I'm sure many of us are hoping to see get back on the track and deliver, some absolutely fantastic performances. And yeah, hopefully, as I said, Elite Performance will be able to get that done. If anything if we can look at anything positive from the current situation with Elite Performance, as I said, is Megan Tapper, right? Running really well, right? Also, Rachel Clayton, even though she suffered, her injury setbacks, she was able to come back and win at the national, championships. That surprised me because I didn't have her winning, given again the setback that she experienced. But hey, she was able to come back and run really well. So they have two national champions. As I said, we see Karika Hill, doing really well. Shashin Dennis is out there, running really well. And, for the couple that are still, going through their injuries, I'm just hoping that, in the coming year, which is an off season, they'll be able to, focus on getting those, injuries healed. And yeah, come back to competing, pretty strongly. And I hope Elaine Thompson-Herah is one of those athletes as well, because if Ronaldo Walcott was able to bring Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, to 10-6, right? And again, I will say what I said in the video when I did it back then, right? Just imagine what he can do with an Elaine Thompson-Herah. He brought Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce from 10-7-0 to 10-6-0, right? Elaine Thompson-Herah was already sitting at 10.54. And yes, I know she's older, right? But I'm saying if he's able to, tap into those last few good years with Elaine Thompson-Herah, what will we be able to see? I'm excited for it, and I'm wishing her all the best. And yes, I do think that some things should be left unsaid, and I will not back down on that, opinion. I believe that story should have never came out, in the first place. But it is what it is, and we move trackies. I'm wishing, both parties all the best. Let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. So Elaine Thompson-Herah back training at Elite Performance. What are your thoughts? Like the video, of course, and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.